still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go.
Hey guys, I'm Emma.
Hey guys, I'm John. I'm Emma and John, you're welcome.
Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're brand new then welcome. Today we're continuing with our We Bake traditional British stuff, see how it turns out and if it's yummy or not. If you can think of a more catchy title for this series,
let us know. Today we're doing lardy cake.
Yeah, so we've come prepared this time.
We have.
We've purchased some lardy cake.
Yes, that's what it should look like.
Yeah, although we do think that this one has got, like, it doesn't say that it does, but it looks like it's got some kind of glaze on it. So, and in our recipe, we're using a Paul Hollywood recipe today. In our recipe, it does say that this one will be less sweet than shop-bought ones, and this one does it's got, I don't know, crystallized sugar or...
And I just think that's just a butter doing a top, so I think we might do that to our one. It doesn't say in the recipe to do that, but we might do that.
And I did buy some icing sugar to see if a glaze of icing sugar would help. But ours might turn out better than this.
Maybe.
It probably won't, but you never know.
Now, yes, is this traditionally from Wiltshire?
Well, there's an argument about it. So it's more southern counties. And I think each county says that they originally created it, but we're in Wiltshire, and so we're going to claim it today.
We are. I know it started, or I've been told as a kid, was started in Castle Coombe, which is literally 5 minutes away from where we are now. So I'm claiming that we're original. Yeah. But I think a lot of people claim that.
So we'll get going because it takes quite a while to kind of do the whole bread making, because it's a kind of bready cake, the bread making process. And then we'll tell you a little bit about it in the middle while the dough has to rise.
Absolutely, it's quite a process. Yeah,
and then at the end we can try our one versus this one.
Yes.
I already think I don't like lardy cake, so
But you thought it was something else.
Yeah, because I thought it was made with stale bread, and I think that might be bread and butter pudding. I
think it is.
Unless, when my nana has made this, she's made it with stale bread. So, who knows? But, we'll just get going. We'll put out the ingredients that we need. And then we'll show you that now. And then we'll get on with the dough making process. First thing we need is 450 grams of strong flour, it said. I've got plain flour.
I didn't know it was a week.
I'm hoping that you're strong. I'm sure that strong flour is a thing. And when we made our parking video, Dawn from the Disney Grown Ups, she did message me with some tips that I have forgotten.
Why you get back on it?
Yeah. So when you see this, Dawn, this is the strongest flour they have. So 450 grams of that.
450 grams.
John is just weighing it out. I was going to say scaling in. Next up is 1 teaspoon of salt. So we'll do that.
Normal salt.
Also, the flour is in there. Have you got a teaspoon?
Yeah.
Next up is 2 of these yeast packets. So we got ours from Aldi.
Nice and easy.
The whole idea of the whole idea of this was that it was a cheap, easy cake to make.
Yeah.
And with kind of your leftovers. So that's why it's so cheap to make, because it's just simple ingredients.
Stuff you normally have in your cupboard. I think traditionally they only put their ovens on every fortnight, so they made everything all at once. And because lardy cake was full of lard, it kept quite well. Yeah, you can also freeze it, which is good. So we'll just pop the rest of our yeast packets. So that's cool because we've got enough to make 2 more if we want to. So you use 2 of those, that's 7 grams of yeast, so 14 grams of yeast. We have to rub in 20 grams of lard into this, kind of like when you make rock cakes and you rub in the butter. You can substitute the lard for butter, but then... It's not lardy cake, is it?
It's not lardy cake, no. So we're going to do that.
It'd be butter cake.
Yeah, it would be butter cake. We've got our 20 grams of lard and we're just going to... I'm just squishing it. It's nice and soft. It said to keep it soft. And I'm gonna.
We kept it out overnight, so it should be fine.
This bowl is too tall for me to do. One thing I don't like about this recipe, I will leave this recipe below because it was the one we found. We liked the best.
Yeah.
But a lot of the recipe is like a third of the total, which is fine because you know what the total is. But it would be easier when you're reading the recipe if they just told you the amounts.
It takes some working out.
Yeah. So when we're going through it, we'll tell you the amounts that we're putting in, and I'll leave the recipe down below so that you know the exact amounts.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done.
Okay.
So next we need to add 3/4 of the water.
Okay.
The total water you need is 300 millilitres. So we've worked that out at 225. So we're just adding it, at the moment we've just got like a dry mixture. So we're going to add the water and then mix the flour until it's kind of a dough. Let's just pour the water in. Are we going to use the mixer to mix it?
Yeah, it'd be easier.
Yeah, it says to do it by hand, but I can't see why.
We have got this funky attachment that says it needs it, so
Yeah.
I can't see why we wouldn't use it.
Okay.
But if anyone tells, if anyone
I don't
knows
want
if
to
we
do
should do it by hand and the reasons, then let us know.
Paul Hollywood told us and we ignored him. So.
But we got, like I said, we bought this mixer and it's got attachment for it, so.
Okay.
It says to do it, you can hear me, to do it at maximum 2 speed, so I think that's doing a good job. Yeah, that's alright.
Okay, so we have to knead the dough for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yep.
You don't want to listen to that for 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to keep it doing it. I'm going to scrape the sides occasionally because my bowl is just a little bit too big.
Yes.
But that'll be fine. But it does look like it's making a nice dough. So.
It does, and like I said, if you are using the mixer, it says in one of the recipes we've seen that do it on maximum the speed 2, so nice and slow.
Yeah, we have to check these things out because I am a mixer novice.
Yeah.
But if you are too, then it's good to know these things.
Absolutely, yeah. We would normally whack it right up to your max, but apparently that's one can do.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll keep this going for 5 to 10 minutes.
Let's do it.
Okay, I think that turned out super well. I don't want to big it up before we've done it, but
I think, the dough looks good.
It's properly. The only thing I would say is we've used big bits of salt, but other than that, it's like proper dough.
Yeah, so hopefully that's a dough. I don't think we would have done that by hand as easy as that.
No.
So I think now we just got to.
I can't get it off with one hand. There's the dough. I'm holding it like a champion. Okay, so the next bit is to leave the dough in a bowl. So we're just going to put it back in this one.
For how long?
1 to 2 hours.
Okay, so we'll leave it 2 hours.
We want to give it the best chance of working. So we're going to leave it in there for 2 hours.
And it should double in size, they say. We'll cover it with tin foil. And then, 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
we've got some facts. So while it's rising, we wanted to give you a little bit of information about the Lardy cake.
Yep.
We did the same for the parking in the last video. It's nice to know where it came from.
We did, yeah. What amazes me, like with the parking, a lot of places around Wiltshire make it slightly different. Like the parking, a lot of places up north made it slightly different. Like I think Yorkshire had it more sticky than other places.
Yeah.
What I find really fascinating.
Yeah, so some places make it more like a Chelsea bun style, so
Yep.
little individual round portions. Some make it more like a cake. We're making it a little bit more like a bread.
Yep.
Also, all of these places will fight you
Absolutely.
for the claim to be the creators of Lardy cake.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna assume that it's Wiltshire. It does make sense.
Well, it is definitely Wiltshire, but it's where it was created.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's Wiltshire because obviously I'm from Wiltshire and Castle Coombe. But if someone else was from Essex, it might say the same.
It does make sense for it to be from Wiltshire because of the pig farming that
Yeah.
used to happen here, and the lard obviously comes from
Yeah.
the remnants of that. But it was created in the 1500s,
Yes.
and it's had many different names.
Many different names. Some of them were...
Dough cake.
Yep, scrap cake.
Lardy John's.
Yes.
Dough cake. There was
Lardy
another
cake,
one.
normal we say.
All of the Lardys.
Yeah, loads of them.
Yeah, but scrap cake came from, so John mentioned earlier that they would only turn their ovens on once a week, maybe once a fortnight. And so they would do all of their baking at that time and then keep it.
Yeah.
So they would create all of the bread, and then any dough that was left over, they'd add like sugar and spice and all things nice.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and that touches on why it was. I mean, it's cheap now. Sugar and salt and that it's cheap now, but back in the day, it never used to be.
Yeah.
So it was a treat. I mean, they only done it once in a while, or when they had the stuff in the cupboards. People used to buy them like once every 2 weeks from the bakery and stuff as well. So for like a treat or something to celebrate.
Yeah, and they would use it at festivals and harvests.
Yeah.
And it does say that some places still today, I've not seen it as much, but still have it as like a tea cake. And tea cakes exist, and it is similar to a tea cake.
Yes.
So I wonder if it's just evolved to that.
I think a tea cake just means it's got fruit in it, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, a lot of tea cakes that I've had in the past had fruit in it, so I don't know if that's the definition of a tea cake.
Yeah, so the reason lardy cake went out of fashion is because of the word lard.
Yes.
People would much prefer to use butters and things like that.
You can understand why, because obviously the word yard is not very good for you, or people think it's not very good for you. However, it's got less saturated fats than butter.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can argue that it's probably better for you in small doses, but everything's okay for you in a balanced diet. So, yeah.
I do think it's really interesting, like with the parking, and I'm sure that we'll find with lots of the other recipes that we go through. When I lived because I'm from Manchester, so when I lived in Manchester, lardy cake was something that we would bring back for my nana, because she liked it when she'd visited down south. But other than that, you couldn't find it up north, and the same with the parking. You can't find that down here.
What I love, that's so fascinating to me. I mean, we've not got a big country, and Finn doesn't travel.
No,
you know, every place, this is what your series is going to be amazing for, have their own ideas and how they do things. What's amazing. Yeah.
So we're just gonna wait now for the dough to rise. I don't think I've ever made bread before, you know, so I'm very excited that it's
definitely
rising.
Need to do that one day.
So we're going to wait for the dough to rise. We've got a few more steps to put the fruit and the sugar and the nice things in. And then it goes in it has to rise again. And then it goes in the oven, and then we can do a little taste test.
Absolutely, it's quite a process, but I suppose back in the day, they had all the time. You know, people stayed at home and they made stuff, and there wasn't a rush for anything. So.
Okay, it's been almost 2 hours.
Almost.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just lightly flouring the surface so that we can tip the dough out onto there.
The dough looks good. Show me the dough.
I'll show you the dough.
I think we've done well.
We need to roll it into a rectangle about 20 centimetres high and 50 centimetres long and half a centimetre thick. So we'll come back when we've done that. Okay, we reckon that's about right.
That's it. It folds
You're going to fold it anyway. Yeah. So now we need to get the other bits.
So what do we need now?
All measured out. So that's the fruit, the sugar, what else? We've just weighed out the rest of our ingredients. So that was 55 grams of lard, 75 grams of butter, 225 grams of fruit, and 50 grams of brown sugar.
51 of brown sugar.
John's done an extra of brown sugar. Okay, and the next bit, it's not complicated, it's just strange that you have to do it this way, but I suppose it's so it spreads more evenly. Okay, so let me bring you down a bit. So we need to put a third of the butter and the lard just dotted around.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be exact because it's all going on there. And then a third of the fruit, roughly, scattered around. Okay, and then you fold it kind of like windows. So this side comes in to the middle.
All the way.
Just to the middle, yeah. And then this side comes into the middle. And then you turn it a little bit. We're losing some fruit. You turn it a little bit and then roll it again.
Roll it?
Yeah, so we'll do the rolling. Okay, so now it's all rolled. We've kind of got like, can you lift it without it breaking?
Try.
I mean, I could show you down there. Is that going to be easy? We've now got like...
Alright, it's going in.
A fruity, bready pillow. We're putting it into our green silicone mould. I'll show you it in there just a second.
That's alright.
You kind of have to spread it into it. We've got a seam down the middle, which...
I don't know how it'll come open.
We're not sure, but if it does, we'll have it in 2 halves. So...
I know it's not in a recipe, but I'm just going to chuck everything on top.
So that's what it looks like.
Just whatever's left over, we're going to chuck them on top.
We're going to push them in a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's push them in. But it's now going to do some...
not many.
We're going to put the cling film back over it. We're going to use the one we used before. I don't want to waste cling film. So we're going to put the cling film back over for another 30 minutes.
Oh, well. Okay.
It really likes to rest, this recipe. Just so it can rise, it says.
Yep.
I thought it'd already risen, but There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so leave to rise for 30 minutes and preheat the oven. So the oven is preheated to 220, which is high.
That is quite high. How long does it cook for?
35 minutes.
That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, so we're
so
gonna...
another half an hour, another hour should be...
Yeah, we've just been working on this all day, but that's fine. We're going to let it rise for half an hour now, so we'll come back when that's done.
Let's do it.
It's fully rested. You've had a good rest. So I don't know why it needed all that rest.
I definitely raised up a bit.
Yeah. I don't know if
What's
you can
good?
tell also that you've got my shadow in it. Okay, so off you go into the oven.
For how long?
35 minutes. Goodbye.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just come out of the oven.
Yeah, it's very hot.
I think we'll bring the camera to you.
It looks alright.
Yeah, we've read some places that you have to turn it upside down.
It's
when
quite
you
gooey
take it.
here.
Is that cooked?
I think so. It's just a bit gooey.
Okay, so we're going to turn it upside down and pop it on that plate. Carefully.
Okay.
I do like, oh, that looks glazy.
Yeah, now it does.
Yeah.
So that's the one we bought, although we get out in a minute. But it's got glaze to it. That's what we was expecting, and we didn't think it was going to have that.
Yeah. Okay, so guess what it needs now?
Been resting and cooling down.
Yeah.
For how long?
Just till it's cool, and then we can cut it into squares.
Okay, so let it cool down, and we'll come back and try it.
John's fancying this one up.
That's proper sticky, that one.
Ooh. So that's what that one looks like. And then we're going to cut our one.
Okay, so how long has it been?
I don't know.
An hour or so? Okay.
You might want a bigger knife.
Okay. So that's obviously bought one.
Yeah.
And that's the one we made. They look too different, do they?
Oh, they look a little... It smells very tea cakey in here.
Yeah. So we're going to cut that end. Oh, is that more stale ink? Okay.
Let's cut it and we'll come back. Okay, so there it is cut up. Ours looks fruitier than this one.
Yeah, it does.
So there's like a cross section.
Okay.
Let's see their cross section. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna
give
try
it a go.
I just touched it to send a picture to my sister. They're both super sticky.
Absolutely, but what we thought would happen hasn't happened. So the one that we bought seemed less glazed than the one that we made. What we didn't think was going to happen. So I think I'm okay with that. I'm somewhat more excited about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think either we've got way more fruit.
Yeah.
If you look, and this is a corner piece and this is a middle piece.
Ours is more sticky.
And it's got tons of fruit in this bite.
Yeah.
Whereas like there's a few bits of fruit in this bite.
And it is glazing on there, but nowhere near as much as ours.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it. Try the one we bought first.
The one we bought?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just...
So this is one that we bought. Oh.
Not a huge fan.
Okay. Lardy cake. Nice.
Okay. So try ours then. I'm hoping I like ours better, because otherwise John's got an entire lardy cake to eat.
Okay.
We'll have to give some to my dad and stuff.
So this is ours. Ours definitely feels more...
Dense.
Yeah. And sticky. Right. That's good.
Ours is better.
I think so.
Ours is more tea cakey.
Yeah.
Like the top of it is tea cakey.
And sticky.
And I think, I know this isn't how you're supposed to make it, but like mine had little bits of salt in it, which were really nice. It's fruitier, so, because that's what I don't, this is just dense.
Well, that's a bit dry, the one we bought.
Yeah, it's just bready.
Yeah.
Whereas ours, maybe it's because it's still a little warm.
But we did say that earlier, that some people make it more bready, what this one is, and ours more cakey.
Yeah.
And I think it's what we made, more cakey rather than more bready.
Yeah, but Paul Hollywood said ours would be less sweet
Yeah.
than theirs, but theirs is bread, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what the texture feels like on theirs, and ours is more of a cake, I think. But I like ours. I really like the one that... I mean, I like the one that obviously we bought, but if I had to pick between the two, I would pick the one that we made. Because I like mine more of a cake.
It does taste stale.
It does taste stale, yeah. And obviously ours is not, because just made it today. Perhaps it's that. But I prefer the one we made. What's really good.
Well, it's good because that's the one we got most of. So yeah, it's a win. I'm not sure what we're moving on to next month.
No.
But if you are from England and you live in a county,
absolutely,
let us know your county. Maybe we can move on to that one.
Absolutely, let us know if you got like any traditions, cake or food or anything that you normally have, what no one else does, and we'll see if we can make that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Bye.